According to HughesNet, their Jupiter 3 satellites produce faster data rates than SpaceX Starlink. Let's go check it out. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much once again joining me for tea time. Today we have a little bit of fireside. That smokiness, so good, so good. I hope you're joining me with your cup of tea, maybe a cup of coffee, hanging out, talking tech, talking photo, talking video. Today is a technology day. We're gonna be talking about HughesNet. We're not talking about Viasat, but they're kind of the same, different, same slow, horrible service. Anyways, according to them, they are now saying that they are faster than Elon Musk's SpaceX Starlink. And we want to take a look at this because I think it's important, because us in the rural areas want to get the best for our money, right? The best value. And is SpaceX Starlink still the best value as of right now, or is it not? Does the brand new HughesNet Jupiter 3 satellite produce faster speeds at a lower cost than SpaceX Starlink? And that's what we're looking at today. I think it's a very interesting topic. The folks over there at PC Magazine and a bunch of other people talked about this, and I want to read to you some of an article, then give you my commentary as to why and why not go with a HughesNet over SpaceX Starlink. And then I want to hear from you. You're more important than me, for sure. Anyways, let's get right into this article. It starts out by saying HughesNet's speed boost comes courtesy of its recent launch of the Jupiter 3 satellite, which is designed to serve customers in the US. To compete with SpaceX Starlink, rival HughesNet is starting to offer customers access to 100 megabit satellite internet speeds. HughesNet is doing so with the help of Jupiter 3, an exceptionally large communication satellite in high geostationary orbit that the company launched in July. The company didn't, but we'll get into that in just a second. After conducting several tests, HughesNet says that Jupiter 3 is ready for action. The upgrade speeds will be part of the existing HughesNet Fusion plan, which was offering customers max download rates of 25 megabits starting at $75 per month or 50 megabits per second at $150 per month. A price sheet from HughesNet shows the Fusion plan can now support download speeds up to 100 megabits per second at a monthly charge of $110. Upload speeds only reach 5 megabits per second. The same price sheet also shows that HughesNet offers a 100 megabit download speed for a new Elite plan that costs $90 per month. That said, both the Elite and the Fusion plans will impose a high-speed data cap of 200 gigabits per month. Once the cap is exceeded, presumably the subscriber can continue consuming data at a reduced speed. To power the improved broadband, the Jupiter 3 satellite has been designed to offer over 500 gigabits in broadband capacity, bringing HughesNet's total capacity to more than 1 terabit. HughesNet says, quote, "This ultra-high density satellite features more than 300 spot beams that alleviate congestion and deliver a faster experience. The state-of-the-art ground system for Jupiter 3 has a new dedicated fiber backbone to reduce latency and artificial intelligence that automatically reroutes traffic around congestion." So just to clarify some of this pie in the sky stuff, I'm so sick and tired of hearing AI this and AI that. When they say that they have artificial intelligence that, quote, reroutes traffic around congestion, I'm a system administrator. I've worked in COs, in NOCs, and trust me, we've been doing this through copper and fiber on servers for decades, all right? You're going to load balance or reroute based on congestion, all right? There is no AI, this AI thing is the most just ridiculous thing. Ridiculous. And they just put AI on everything just to sell it today. I digress, as I always do. Anyways, back to the article. The new speeds could make HughesNet more competitive against Starlink, SpaceX's satellite internet system, which is already serving 2.2 million customers across the globe. Although Starlink can offer download rates at over 220 megabits per second, many users in the United States are actually receiving speeds closer to 70 megabits per second, according to Ookla speed test data. That is true. Residential Starlink service can also reach $120 per month depending on your location. That is also true. Like Starlink, HughesNet customers also have to buy access to the required satellite dish hardware. In HughesNet's case, customers can either lease or buy the hardware at different prices depending on the plan. Well, that's kind of true and false. If you're in the US, yes, you have to buy the hardware, you can't lease it. But there is some areas in Europe where you can actually lease SpaceX Starlink hardware. Anyways, the article finalizes with HughesNet's Fusion plan works by tapping both satellites and ground-based cellular networks to improve latency and speed. So to come full circle, like I posed at the beginning of this video, is SpaceX Starlink now slower than HughesNet? Is HughesNet with their Jupiter 3 able to produce faster or provide faster speeds than SpaceX Starlink? And the answer to that is kind of yes and no. Yes, they're able to provide faster speeds if they are able to provide that 100 megabits per second. SpaceX Starlink on average as of today is only hitting around 79, according to Ookla in the US, only hitting on average about 79 megabits per second. So if HughesNet can actually reach that 100 megabits, yes, they are going to be faster as of right now. That being said, let's bear in mind, this Jupiter 3 that's up there was slated to be put into orbit in 2021. It was delayed from 2021 to 2022, then from 2022 to 2023, and then in July of this year, I believe it was the 28th, they were actually able to get that Jupiter 3 into orbit. Now, when I say they, it's not HughesNet that put this into orbit. It was Elon Musk's SpaceX with their Super Heavy, their Falcon Super Heavy is what got this massive satellite. This satellite is probably like the biggest satellite in orbit to date. It is massive. Now, they have this in orbit, which is all great. There is 3 problems though associated with this. 3 problems. The first problem is data cap. Now, like they said in this article, once you hit your limit of 200 gigabytes, right, you are now going to be throttled. Now, what you'll be throttled to, they do not indicate, but you will be slowed down. And then once your billing cycle is over, it will reset and give you once again 200 gigabytes of data or of high-speed data until you use it up. Whereas conversely with SpaceX Starlink, they never placed a data cap on their system. They were going to, and I talked about it in many videos, but they never did. Now, secondly, before I get into the second one, I just want to say if you enjoyed this content, even at least throw it a thumbs up. That would be very helpful. Also, if you have not subscribed as of yet, consider doing so. And if you have, click this little button over here so when I go live or when a new video comes out, you will be notified of it immediately. And if you want more content, more Starlink content, click this little button over here. I put together a Starlink playlist with over 220 Starlink specific videos. Check them out. Also, if you have not checked out any of my ebooks, they are 100% free. Go to JCristina.com/books. Once again, JCristina.com/books. And if you're looking for a VPN, check out PureVPN. The nice folks gave us a promo code, which is JCristina, that will give you an additional 15% off at checkout. If you don't want to remember that, that's fine. Go to JCristina.com/VPN. Once again, JCristina.com/VPN. If you want to say thank you for all of my hard work on this channel, this little thank you button, click on that, give $1 or $2 if you like. If not, that is perfectly fine. Consider becoming a member of the channel. That would be even better. So now that all that personal promotion is done, let's get back to number 2. So number 1 was data cap. Number 2 is upload speed. Now, like they said, the maximum upload speed that HughesNet is going to provide is 5 megabits per second. 5 megabits per second. Whereas SpaceX Starlink is going anywhere from about 10 to about 20. I've seen as high as 34, 35, 39. But for the most part, on average, we're getting about anywhere from about 10 to 15 megabits per second. That is double the speed on the upload side. Now, that is very important. And the reason being is if you are trying to upload a file, right? Like for me, I upload gigabyte files that are just massive and it takes a long time. So the faster my upload speed is, the less time it takes, of course. So it is very important for me to have a really strong upload speed. So I'm happy with SpaceX Starlink for that. The last thing, number 3, and that is the massive elephant in the room, is latency. People don't think about latency and how important latency is. Well, SpaceX Starlink is providing on average about 60 milliseconds of latency. 60. Not bad. I'm getting currently about 40 to 45, but on average, 60 milliseconds. Whereas HughesNet, their Jupiter 3, is going to provide 600 on average milliseconds. 10 times slower. That is a problem. That is a problem. Now, people are like, well, why is that a problem? Well, if you're doing a Google meeting, you don't want all of that latency because you're going to look delayed. If you're playing an online video game, you're streaming live videos, let's say, you don't want that latency. Back to the video game. If you are sniping someone and you shoot and you notice that you didn't hit anything, that's because he already left. He's not there anymore because you have so much latency. He's already moved to a different location and you just shot a wall. Conversely, you could get shot and you don't even know who shot you because the guy just popped out. You didn't see him. He popped out, shot you, and left. Anyways, latency is very, very important. Doesn't matter if you're live streaming, if you're gaming, if you're doing Google meetings, whatever. Latency is very important. Now, why exactly there's such a massive difference between SpaceX Starlink and HughesNet when it comes to latency? Well, I'm glad you asked. Jupiter 3 is sitting at around 35,700 kilometers off Earth, right in orbit. Whereas SpaceX Starlink satellites are sitting at about 500 kilometers, 550, 540, right around there. So you're looking about 7 times closer to Earth. That is a big difference. Lower latency because the data doesn't have to travel as far, 7 times less traveling distance, right? So it's just simply faster. So that's the 3 main points, but I want to give you a couple other notes. I always dig a little deeper. Well, in the article, they talked about how the Jupiter 3 and their other satellite, when combined, will provide 1,000 gigabits per second connectivity, which is a terabit. Sounds great and all. Well, the Starlink satellites, the version 2 minis, provide 60 gigabits of data. You can see there's a big difference. 60 gigabits with Starlink and 1,000 gigabits with HughesNet. But, and this is the big but, there's 5,000 satellites that are providing 60 gigabits of data. Not one, 5,000. So you do the math. It's a major difference. And these are version 2 minis that we're talking about that are providing 60 gigabits connectivity. Whereas the new maxis, let's call them, or eventually maybe they're called version 3s, those will be the larger SpaceX Starlink satellites that will be put into orbit using the Starship because they are so big. Those are going to provide over 100 gigabits each. 100 gigabits each. Also, there are over 8,000 lasers on these SpaceX Starlink 5,000 plus satellites. 8,000 lasers. And these lasers are able to communicate satellite to satellite to satellite at a speed of 100 gigabits per second over distances of miles, many miles. That is amazing. That means that 100 gigabits of connectivity between the 5,000, now about 5,500 active satellites, they are now able to create a mesh network that encompasses the entire Earth. So they're able to relay data from satellite to satellite to satellite to satellite all around the planet and never touch the ground until the end of the loop. So if you requested something and you're in the US, you requested something from, let's say, China, it can actually send the data from satellite to satellite to satellite to satellite and then beam it down to where it needs to in the US. Pretty cool, right? So this is a major difference between HughesNet. And in my personal opinion, I think that this is HughesNet even Viasat for that matter, they're doing nothing. But HughesNet's last hurrah, let's call it. Because anyone that has half a sense will look at these numbers and say, you know, this is just not going to work out for me. I'm going to be paying a little bit less. I might get slightly faster speeds, right? But my latency is going to be out the roof, 10 times slower. And I'm going to have a data cap. So once I hit 200 gigabytes, I'm going to be slowed down to who knows what. I don't want that. The majority of the people are going to simply go to SpaceX Starlink. I think anyone that is on HughesNet or Viasat as of right now is just waiting for their contract to be over and are probably asking them, how much do I have to pay to just break ties with you? I just want to go with Starlink. I guarantee you guys. Now, if you're currently using Viasat or if you're using HughesNet, I want to hear from you. Down below in the comments, let me know your experience. Are you looking to go with SpaceX Starlink? Or are you going to stick with HughesNet, for example, now that they have the Jupiter 3 online? Let me know down below. This is just my opinion. I could be wrong. Down below, let me know if I'm wrong or right. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Like I said before, throw it a thumbs up if you did. And finally, head over to my website, JCristina.com, where you can find all the photography tools I've invented for you and me over the years. And hopefully there's something there that you might like. And if there is, please pick it up and support me and my family. And don't forget the merch and the teas and all the rest of this stuff. Anyways, guys, many blessings to you and your family. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you in the next one. Happy holidays. Love you all.